Hey, what's up, Pep Nation? I'm going to take you guys through a basketball-specific warm-up today that's just going to get you absolutely fired up. Now, I'm going to give you a couple variations within the warm-ups. There's going to be a standard version. I'm going to give you an advanced version. Now, the first part is phase number 1, which is our sport-specific multi-directional agility phase, and this is how it gets you kind of warmed up, the same movements that you would in basketball. Now, the first exercise is just a standard version. This is our lateral push step. You want to make sure that you're in a universal athletic position. Toes, knees, hips, shoulders are all lined up. You want to be square, and all I'm going to do is lift up my left leg and push off my push off my right, and be in the exact same position I started in. So I'm here and I push. I'm looking for distance. I'm in this nice low position in the defensive position in basketball, making sure that I really push. And if you want to keep this foot a little bit closer, as if you're making that lateral slide, in basketball, as a defense player, you can. Now, the advanced version is you're a little bit more dynamic. Now, we're going to keep the feet bouncing a little bit more, that rapid response, that quick ground contact. I'm quick on my feet, I load and explode. I'm quick on my feet, I load and explode. Quick on my feet, load and explode, looking for distance, leading with my hips, keeping my core tight, low and in the tunnel. We're going to do that for 20 yards there, and obviously we're going to do 20 yards with the opposite foot coming back. Our second exercise, and we're going to be a 45-degree lateral push. Same concept as the first one, but I'm going to go in a 45 degrees angle going forward. So I load up into my right hip. I'm going to push off, land with 2 feet in a 45-degree angle. If you want to make this just a little bit more advanced, what we can do is we can land on one foot and then put the other foot down, or we can also, in this advanced version, be a little bit more dynamic. In dynamic, we want to just get on our feet, toes, quick ground contact, push, and explode. Now I have another advanced version to this that's a lot more explosive, and it kind of mimics basketball a little bit more. So I get to that quick ground contact, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to push off 45 degrees, and when I land, I take 2 quick shuffle steps. So I'm here, 45 degrees, quick 2 shuffle steps. 45 degrees, quick 2 shuffle steps. That's a little bit more explosive, so when I land, like in basketball, if I'm coming up from a rebound, if I'm going for a quick pass, and I get the ball, I can then go very quickly and then get to the spot or get to the basket very fast. You're going to do that there in back, depending on which side you're doing on. You're going to do both sides. And then from here, I'm going to get into my lateral shuffle. Now, the reason why we started with the exercise 1 is because I want you to be able to push off. I don't want you to click your heels. So exercise number 3, we're going to be looking for that nice low athletic position, dropping the butt, chest up nice and tall. I'm going to shuffle. When I get to the line, I'm going to pivot and turn. Square up my hips, continue to shuffle, pivot and turn. Okay, so I'm going to show you that just a little bit faster, but the key here is wherever you start, you want to be on that same line. You don't want to fade off of the line. So I'm here, I shuffle, flip and turn, square up, flip and turn. Hey, you can have your hands in a position that more mimics what you're doing. Hey, ball, low, high, whatever feels more comfortable for you, but you want to make sure that you're in a good athletic position. From here, this is where we get a little bit more advanced in our basketball tactics. Now, every 5 yards, you're going to run, and I'm going to decelerate. So this is exercise number 4. I run, I decelerate, and I come to balance, right into that defensive position. So I'm buzzing my feet, I'm closing out. I run, I decelerate, I close out. So just as a defensive player would, you want to run, decelerate, so you're in a good position to move, right? If the guy takes off, but you're coming under control, dropping the hips and getting those hands ready to go. Let me show you a quick one here. So exercise number 4 here. I run, decelerate, close out, box out, boom. Close out, boom. Run, close out. Hey, you're gonna try to get to that man very quickly. You go there, and then on the way back, it's a little bit different. Now what I wanna do is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna run, so it's exercise number 5. I run, I break down, but when I get here, it's a quick hip flip. So we open up our hips. 1, 2, come back to balance. I run, close out, 1, 2, come back. Run, close out, 1, 2, come back. That's exercise number 6. Going back now, same concept. But this time, I'm gonna run, decelerate, gather, so I can kind of turn on an angle to whatever side you like to jump to. We're gonna change sides. Jump, get the rebound, come back down, and then go again. So we load and explode from the hips, get up nice and high, get the ball at the highest point, bring it back down with my elbows up, hey, and then go again. So I'm here, I break down, jump, ball, boom. See how now I switch sides, jump, back down. This one is just a little bit more explosive and it builds a lot of control, body awareness, especially when I land. We would do that there. On the way back, we do our last part of the forward deceleration is I run, and all I want to do is just I'm going to backpedal and then explode. I run, decelerate, backpedal, and explode. And I can always open up on other angles. So I can open up my hips. So I'd run, backpedal, decelerate, backpedal, and explode. The last variations of our warm-up exercise is now we're gonna do quick hip flips. So we got a few here, so all I'm gonna do here is I'm going to get my body so it's opened up to one side of the room. My eyes are gonna be straight ahead, always looking at the player. Every 2 shuffles, I'm gonna flip my hips. So it's a quick rhythm hip flip. And the key to this is to be able to flip your hips. Very quick, dynamic, and you wanna be very reactive to the player that's gonna be in front of you. So a little bit quicker this time. 1, 2, flip, 1, 2, flip. And I'm pushing off that front foot, really opening up and getting out. You would do that one there. A more advanced version to that is then we're gonna do quicker hip flips. So I'd be here, and I got quick hip flips, and then I go back to that rhythm shuffle. Quick hip flips, rhythm shuffle. So every 5 yards, I'd go quick hip flips, rhythm shuffles, quick hip flips, rhythm shuffles. That's a little bit more advanced, it's more coordinated. Then from there, I wanna go to a back pedal. This is very important because sometimes when you get lazy, you end up backpedaling like this, and we want to keep you just a little bit more forward, a little bit more emphasis in the quads, so you're not back in the heels, about to fall back on a fast break. So here, I'm not going to get super low like a defensive back. I'm going to drop down to a position that feels comfortable, lean over slightly, and I'm just going to backpedal. Backpedal, keeping it nice and controlled. But what I'm going to do in this backpedal specifically, you can do this on a coach's cue, or you can do it with, between cones. I'm going to go fast, slow, fast, slow. So I call this a tempo rhythm pedal. So as you can see, I'm going to go fast, then slow it down. Slow it down, fast, slow it down, slow it down. So you get to learn control. And the key to that is not to pop up and down and bob. You want to stay the same level. Now on the way back, a more advanced version to this is you're weaving now. So you want to keep your body square, and then all I want to do is I'm going to just weave side to side, trying to stay square the whole time. So I'm leading with my butt, pushing off my toes, but at the same time, I'm still square and ready to make a move here, right? Ready to stay with somebody. So the key here is to still keep slightly forward, not on my heels. Have a slight knee bend, push the butt back, and just weave and keep everything in front of me. Keep everything in front of me. So I get there and back, or I just go there depending on which sequence you're on. The last exercise is a quick flip. Okay? And there's only one version of this. It gets tiring and it's tough, and it has a lot of coordination to it. So take it control. From here, hey, we always, in basketball, we're gonna have to open up our hips and run. So what I want here is your eyes gotta stay forward. You turn and run. When you get to about 5 or 10 yards, you flip your hips. 5 or 10 yards, you flip your hips. 5 or 10 yards, flip your hips, but you're still keeping everything in front of you. It involves a lot of hip control and a lot of mobility at the same time. So you gotta be able to flip those hips, keep control of your core, keep control of your body, staying in a straight line, plant and open your hips, the mobility, but to stay on the same path without moving off that path. So that's our last one. I'm going to just show you a little bit quicker so you can see how quick it's supposed to be. So I'm here, I open up, boom, plant open, and then decelerate, and you're going to do it back. That's phase 1 of the multi-directional sport-specific agility movement. Then now that the heart rate's up, we're going to get into the actual mobility preparation. Here's your first one, and we always want to be able to decelerate. So our first one is we're going to pull our knee towards our chest, hold it, because we don't want the leg to drop. We're trying to look for strength here as well. Hold it, and then drop. So I drop into it, get a little bit deceleration. I squeeze my back glute, drive my hip forward, get some hip extension, reach back, open up the abdominals, then bring my hands in front, open. Hey, T-spine mobility, open, back leg kicks, hamstring. Best bang for your buck. We get a lot of work in here. I jog a few steps forward, grab the other leg, pull it, let it drop, hold, hip flexor strength, drop, decelerate, drive my hip forward, squeeze the glutes, open, open, kick. Great exercise, works everything here as I showed you. You would want to walk for about 20 yards, at least get 3 to 4 per leg. Coming back the other way, we're gonna get a tabletop quad stretch. So what I mean by tabletop is you wanna make sure you have a flat back, hip hinge. We're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg. So all I'm looking for is if my left leg is down, I'm gonna cross over with my left hand to my right foot. Hey, a lot of extension here, keeping it nice and tight. Don't be wobbling all over the place. As you see, I get a lot of ankle, knee, hip, core stability, which is great for basketball players. So I hold that for about 3 seconds, I pull back through, put my foot down, and I run a couple steps. As you can see, plant that foot, make sure that the knee doesn't go into valgus and come in. Grab your foot, hip hinge, reach out, hold for 3 seconds, pull back on that hip, and then pull back through. Again, you want at least 3 to 4 per side, and you want to be able to hold it. You want that balance. The next one I'm gonna get into is I'm gonna get into a sumo squat. So I'm gonna slightly turn my feet open. I'm gonna sumo squat. Hey, sit down there for a second, open up my hips, chest up nice and tall, come back out. Then I'm gonna go into what we call fencer stretch, really open up my hips. Turn, now I'm gonna do is turn one foot, because you wanna open up that hip so we can pivot and turn. The other one keeps this way. I'm just gonna open the hips this way. So I'm in a fencer stretch. Then I just do that a couple times. I shuffle, I'm gonna do it the other way. So I get into a sumo squat, I drop down, I open up a couple times, turn my foot, keep this one straight, open up. I'll show you one last time. A couple steps here, get down. If you want to make it more dynamic, you can get a couple jump squats, sumo squats in, open up the hips, and we're back again. You do that at least 3 to 4 times per side, and I'll show you the last one here. And what I'm looking for is more of a hip hinge. A lot of people get this wrong, they end up rounding their back. Chest is up, this is calf and hamstring. Take the crease of my hands, put the crease of my hips are square, toes are square, front leg straight, toe up, back leg bent. Pretend there's a camera on your chest taking a picture of what's in front of you. Push your butt back 3 times, ballistic stretch. Move forward 3 times, ballistic stretch. Really opening up that hamstring and calf region. Again, 3, 4, 5 repetitions of that. When you're finished that, and this is very quick. So right now you'd be no more than 8 to 10 minutes in. We finish our last 5 minutes onto the ground, do our ground-based mobility. What you want to do is we're going to get into a cat-cow here, taking a deep breath in, really focusing on the breathing now. Taking a deep breath and back out. Pushing the ground away from me, pulling my hips underneath me, and driving my hands away from my body. When we finish that, I'm going to go into what we call a hip rock series. It's very important because we do so much pivoting and turning and moving that the hips, for not just basketball players, for all athletes, are opened up and ready to go. So from here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rock back 10 times, keeping this foot flat, not putting any excess pressure on the knee. Then I'm gonna sit up after 10. I'm gonna rotate, really get into the hip capsule. I'm gonna do that 10 times. Bring this leg out in front of me. I'm gonna rotate again, right in front. And then I'm gonna hip hinge for another 3 to 5. And we do that on both sides, right? So I'm here, I do 10 rock backs, rotations in the hip capsule in front, and again, a little bit of hip hinge. From there, what I wanna do is I wanna get into a tactical frog, really open it up, really stretch out that groin. I'm gonna rock back 10 times here, keeping the elbows in line with the shoulders, and just sit my hips back as far as they can go, taking a deep breath in as I go down, breathing out as I come up. When I finish that, I'm gonna open up the hips just a little bit more. Everything stays nice and tight. Core tight, I'm gonna drive that glute back, or that heel back, squeezing the glute up and over. These are just leg circles or knee circles. We do 5 forward and we do 5 back per leg, making sure that nothing else moves, you're not wiggling and wobbling all over, and that just the hip that is doing the work. From there, I just want to open up the hamstring a little bit. So I'm going to clasp my hands behind my knee, keep this at 90, don't bring it too far towards you. I'm going to kick 3 times and pull. Kick 3 times and then pull it back towards me. Get a nice high hamstring stretch. Very ballistic, very fast. The way that we're moving in basketball, we're really opening up that stride in court when you're about to make that nice slam dunk from that pass. Okay, then from there, I'm gonna do some straight leg kicks on the same leg. So I do 10 and 10, then I switch to the other side and I do my kicks, pull, kick, pull, and then 10 kicks from there. Then, just to finish us off, I'm gonna go into a 90-90 stretch, chest up nice and tall. I'm leaning over, really get into that hip again. So I do 3 movements over the knee, 3 over the shin, and then I'm just gonna reach back towards my back heel and reach over, get into that side of that hip as well, right into that rib cage. So I'm gonna do that on both sides. And then when I finish that, I'm gonna do 90-90, about 10 aside, opening up the hips. And then from there, last and final one, I'm just gonna go into more of just opening up the calf and Achilles area and ankles. So all I wanna do is I wanna drive that back of my heel into the ground. I just call these gas pedalers. That right there is gonna get you warmed up. It's gonna get you primed and ready to go. Like I said, there's standard versions here, there's advanced versions. So there's 3 phases. You've seen this from the beginning. There's sport-specific agility preparation just to get you ready to go in the same type of movements that you would do in basketball. Then you get into your mobility prep. You're just getting everything loosened up, ready to go. We get into the ground just to finish up anything that might be tacked, bound down, you know, very tight. We open up those little areas, those little areas that might be very, very tight for some athletes that just kind of sit all day or they haven't done much, and we need to get them ready to go. So this is a great warm-up specifically for basketball players that I've used for years with my guys, and it's taken them to the next level, and we consistently use it throughout the entire in-season, off-season, and sometimes we may do other things, but this is the start. This is how you guys are gonna get better, and I'll see you guys soon.